everybody. Welcome to the cottage. Happy New Year. I hope y'all had a Merry Christmas. It's been a while since I've podcast. That seems to be the theme of how I start every podcast. It's been a while. Yeah, but we had Christmas and all of that. So it's been a bit busy in my life, as I'm sure it has been yours. But Happy New Year. I hope your year is off to a great start. This podcast is it's episode number 16, and it is my 1 year podiversary. I recorded my very first episode January 3rd, 2017. It dropped January 10th, 2017. Today is the 7th, so I'm hoping that I can have this edited and dropped on January 10th. And since that's the day I dropped it and you saw it for the first time, that's the date I'm going with. So hopefully it'll all turn out good. Now, I am going to try and change the format for the new year just a bit. I watched so many podcasts during the time that I was knitting feverishly up until Christmas. And I mean that. It was Christmas Eve and I was finishing up gifts. And I watched a lot of Vlogmas. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, if you put out a Vlogmas, I pretty much watched it. I like the shorter little snippets. I don't know. And it felt like Christmas. So I was thinking, I enjoyed the format of Vlogmas so much that it was basically, if you're not familiar with Vlogmas, which I'm sure you are, but if you're not, let me say it is really just snippets of their day, of the podcaster's day, leading up to Christmas. So it would be like Vlogmas Day 1, Vlogmas Day 2, up the 24 or 25 days of Christmas. And it's just snippets throughout their day, all composed together in editing. And I thought, I really like that. It's a big deal for me to set out a block of time to get everything set up, to get everything collected and gathered, to record the podcast, and then take it all down. Number one, that's a big enough deal in and of itself. But it is, I keep my grandies so much that it's hard to do it all at one shot. And so I find that I just put it off another day. And 3 weeks have gone past, and I've been putting it off just because it was such an issue to get set up. So I thought, if I did shorter snippets where I didn't have to have all of my stuff together, it might be easier for me, and maybe it'd be more enjoyable to watch. So we're giving it a go. This is going to be my first one. So this is not all going to be recorded. This is the plan. It's not all going to be recorded at one shot. It will evolve between the 7th and, well, just a couple days this time, because I'm going to drop it. So I'll be editing probably the 9th in the afternoon. My intent is, as we go along, after this podcast, my intent is just record a little bit here and there, maybe when I'm doing something, when we're doing something around here, or when I'm knitting, or so that it's just not all saved up for one podcast, because then I find I'm leaving stuff out. It'll be like, when it drops, I think, oh, I forgot to thank this person, or oh, I wanted to show this, and so it's just getting a little out of hand for me. And I thought, we're going to give this a try and see how it works. Hopefully you will enjoy it. If not, you can say something. Not sure I've changed anything, but I have to do what works best for me here in the season of life that I'm in. If you're new, thank you for stopping by at the cottage and giving me a look-see. I keep my grandies, and yeah, I have three, and so I help my daughters take care of them while they're at work. So it staggers. My one daughter's a nurse, and so her schedule is flexible every week. My grandson, I pretty much know from week to week what hours I'm going to have him, so I can work around that, but not always. I'm rambling just a little bit to tell you, if you're new, that's why there's a lot of commotion around here. As a matter of fact, I'm keeping two grandies right now, the two girls, and they're upstairs playing, and they are getting a little carried away at times, so we'll see how it works. But that is the plan as of now. It has been quite a year. I was thinking this morning of the people that I'm grateful for, the people that I'm thankful for, and I thought I should have made a list, but I'm not that organized. I should have made a list. To thank everyone, and then maybe I wouldn't have forgotten, but I probably still would have forgotten. So I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, I'm very grateful to everyone who has reached out to me. I am going to mention a few names because these are names that maybe I've met these people, maybe I've been able to connect on certain levels with them, or maybe they've been real encouragement. And so I do want to mention a few, but if I forget someone, please know it's not intentional, and please know there's random times that someone will go through my mind and I'll think, I really appreciated that. I'm not one to sit down and write thank you notes. That is a big flaw of mine. If I can shoot you a text or a DM, a lot of times I count that as a thank you, or if I can say it publicly here, and I know that's wrong, I should sit down and send thank you notes. But it's not a strong suit of mine, and it is kind of crazy around here. No excuses. I just want you to know a little bit about me. It's just my weakness. Doesn't mean I'm not thankful and I'm not grateful. And I know some people thrive on those thank you notes, so I'm sure I've let so many people down. And for that, I apologize. I should work on that. Ooh, I'm getting a Charlie horse. I should work on that, and I should be a little more, I just should be better at it. Anyway, but I think back to that first day, I think, that my podcast dropped. And Tracy from the Grocery Girls gave me a huge shout out. And that was like a rock star telling everybody and to go do this, and then they y'all listened. I mean, it was just incredible. It was like I was on Instagram and it was like boom, 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 boom. It just started. I mean, and I'm like, what's going on here? Why do I have all these followers? What's going on here? And it didn't take me long to realize that Tracy had given me a shout out, and I don't think I would have been discovered by so many if she hadn't have done that. And I didn't ask her to. It was just the goodness of her heart that she did that. And then Jody and Tracy talked about me, I think, 2 times on their podcast. Thank you, Jody and Tracy. That really was my boost that got me going. And I'm so thankful. And if you, and this is kind of silly for me to even say, because of course everybody knows the Grocery Girls, but if you have not, for some reason, or if you used to follow them and you just haven't watched them in a while, you need to watch them. Let me tell you this, as one who struggles with depression from time to time, I cannot tell you how many times they have made me laugh. They just hilarious, and it's not forced, it just happens. They've got a chemistry, and it's just their level of humor is hilarious. But if you're sad, sometimes we just need to laugh, and sometimes we need to not be so uptight, and sometimes we just need to be real and just embrace the humor that life gives us. And I think they do that very well. So yeah, that I will forever be grateful for those two. And I'm telling you, there are times this week I was catching up and just, laugh right out loud. It's so good for the soul to just laugh. But so, Jody and Tracy, thank you so much. You will never know how much I appreciate that. I think one day, I'm pivoting now, or I'm moving on. One day I was really at a low point, and very, very seriously thinking about just quitting the podcasting. It's been a crazy year for us. I've in my previous podcast, I think I've said what a trying year it's been for me, my husband, and really the whole family, because he bought a business this year and has never managed this many people, and it's just been rough. And we all had to adjust. I started watching my grandson because my daughter went to work for my husband, and so it is a big, big adjustment for all of us. And I remember one day I was just nearly overwhelmed, and I just thought, one thing I can give up is the podcast. It's been a dream for a long time. I've tried to get everybody I know to do a podcast with me, and no one was interested. And so finally, my one daughter had said, if this is a dream of yours, you really need to do it. And so I did. I bit the bullet and I did it, and I loved it. But I was thinking, something's got to give. I can't keep up at this pace. And I may have said something either on Instagram or one of the podcasts. I really should go back and watch my podcasts, but after I edit them, I don't like to watch them anymore. And so I don't know, there's something about watching yourself. You just want to, you just want to go in there and fix everything. And so it's just better for me not to rewatch them. So I'm not sure. I must have said it on a podcast. And Molly from a homespun house reached out to me and encouraged me so much. Molly, you will never know just that little bit of encouragement that you gave me that day. I wouldn't have continued. I'm pretty sure I would not have continued had you not DM'd me on Instagram and chatted with me for a little bit. So thank you. And if you want to see some beautiful yarns, people, go watch a homespun house or go to a homespun house website. I've ordered from her multiple times and just love everything I've ever received from her. It's first class yarn. It's great quality and beautiful eye, and she has an eye for beautiful color and color definition. That's a very good product. I'm trying to think if there were any other podcasters, and I know there are. Some of you no longer podcast, and that makes me sad because there's a few of you, and I've probably tapped you a number of times and said, when are you going to podcast? You know how difficult it is, and I just loved watching your podcast, and you've been very encouraging to me. Then there are those who have given gifts to give as prizes. That helps tremendously because I can't buy yarn for me and you, and so I choose to buy it for me. And so when people give me yarns and bags and stitch markers, anything to give away as prizes, it motivates me to say, okay, let's do a giveaway. I think about Evil Little Goats, her yarn, oh my lands, it is top notch, and it's one that I just love and cannot get enough of it. And she is so sweet and so giving and so generous. And she is giving multiple yarns to give away. And so for that, I am so thankful. Her name is Dion, so thank you, Dion. I'm looking at my yarn now, trying to think of different yarn dyers who have given me yarn to give away. There's been bag makers. Knitty by Nature has given stitch markers. Just people are so generous and so caring. One lady would just send me things, and Dawn, and I'm not going to, she is not a public figure, so I'm not going to give her name, her personal name, or even her Instagram name, but so thankful that she went through her stash and would give things. So, yes, ma'am. Do you need something?
Can I play with my suitcase?
All right, now, in a minute. So I'm just so thankful for all of you, because Ruby Moss Cottage podcast is what it is because of all of you, podcasters who've encouraged me, makers who have given to me, donated to me, followers who have encouraged me. So many of you literally have carried me by your likes, by your comments, both on Instagram and here, by supporting me, and good and bad, giving me tips of, this is what you said wrong, or this is the actual fact, or just atta girl. I mean, just so much. I'm grateful. I'm humbled. I am encouraged. I am overwhelmed when I sit down and think about all the people I've met. And really and truly, that's why I did it. I think I've told you before, when my daughter was telling me, you need to do this, you need to do this, but what is your point in doing it? What is your purpose in doing it? Because if you don't have a purpose, then you won't do it for long. And I said, well, really my purpose is to meet more of this community. It's such an awesome community. And that has been accomplished. I have learned from you. The ideas that you give me on my projects, it's just beyond anything. In my last Instagram post, I said, I faced the giant. It was a fear. This was a fear of mine. Podcasting was a fear to, what will I say? What will I do? What if I look stupid? What if I act stupid? What if I sound stupid? What if I don't know what I'm talking about? What if I'm a total failure? It's just the doubts and the fears. But, when something drives you and you really want to do it, and it won't go away, it was a fear. And so I faced that giant. And in facing the giant, I realized it wasn't a giant at all. It was a loving community of friends that just, no words. No words. So, let me say this. If there is someone out there that's just really wanting to podcast, and you are just afraid or insecure, go for it. I will tell you this. Is it easy? Not always. Is it fun? Not always. Sometimes it's work. But for the most part, it is a lot of fun. For the most part, you meet the most amazing people. And for the most part, you learn so much. You've given me so many different ideas for projects and ways to fix things. So thank you for that. And we're going to take care of a few little things, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. It was a very important thing that they needed to know if they could have some Hershey Kisses. So that was definitely worth stopping the whole show and getting to the bottom of. And so thought I'd make me a strong cuppa. This is red velvet cake from David's Tea. It's what's in my tea bag. Let me tell this necklace, I got to thinking, I left this one This is Bed of Roses. She's on Instagram as Bed of Roses, and she's on Etsy as Bed of Roses, I believe. But Catherine, you went above and beyond when you gave me this, and she sent stitch markers and needle cozies to give to you all as giveaways. And so, this is still one of my favorite pieces, Catherine. It's beautiful. You all need to go on there and check her work out. It's just amazing work. But these are stitch markers and progress keepers. And so if you're knitting, and you need one, you just take them off of your necklace, your little bohemian necklace. So I'm so excited. I still love this thing to pieces. All these beautiful stitch markers are just me. And it just comes off so easily, so you can get everything off. And it's just beautiful. I wear it quite often. And touched my heart when you sent this to me as a gift. So thank you, Catherine, from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, thanking everyone. And again, I probably am forgetting someone, but no, that's not my intent. And we're going to get rolling. I think what we're going to do real quick, I'm going to go into what's out of my bags. And then I'm probably going to take a break because I thought I had this beautiful block of time today to knit. My husband was out of town. My daughter's working. I have the two granddaughters, and they're pretty good. So I thought, I'm just going to have all afternoon to podcast, even if it's in snippets. Well, my husband called. He's on his way home, so he's about 2 hours away. And so all of my time that I have blocked out for podcasting and knitting is dwindling away. So what I'm going to do is just do what's out of my bags. And I have two things to show you, and I'm just going to show you a picture of one of the other things that are out of my bags because it was Christmas and I didn't have any time to really get a lot done. But I posted these dolls on Instagram, but in case you're not on Instagram or in case you missed it, I wanted to show them to you. These are the dolls that I was making for my granddaughters for Christmas. I'll show them both to you, and then I'll show them to you one at a time. Let me get her hair fixed. Okay, so this one is Rose, and this one is Snowflake. And they both have pretty bows in their hair, but they have since disappeared. I'm going to tell you a little bit about their outfit. As you can tell, okay, so these are their Christmas outfits. They are made from recycled sweaters. This dress for Snowflake and this poncho for Rose was made from the same sweater. Then Rose's dress, let me lay Snowflake down. Rose's dress and Snowflake's, ow, okay, Snowflake's poncho were made from the same sweater. So, they kind of coordinate, kind of twinsies. And they both have pretty bows in their hair, but I don't know where they've gone off to. So that is one. Well, okay, that's her cape. Okay, so these things took forever. They got to pick what they wanted. They knew I was making them, so they got to pick the color of the eyes, the color of the hair, the color of the arms and legs, and then that's all. Oh, and then on the little panties, I have my, let me see if I can zoom in on it. Can you see Ruby Moss Cottage? A little tag is sewn on the bunkums of each of the dollies. But these, what I did with the sweaters, let me make sure I did this. Yes. Okay, these are the arms to sweaters. So like recycled wool. I just went to like thrift shops and bought wool sweaters. And some of them were already felted, actually. That's how that had been taken care of. and then some of them I brought home and felted. But you just, this like right here is the wrist. And so then the sleeve comes down. So you cut the arm of the sweater, and then you just go in here and cut arms out. It's wool. So, I mean, it's felted wool. So, you know, you can cut it and it's not going to unravel or anything. So it went in, and then you just slip it over them. And I went in and added the little blanket stitch just to give them a little decorative stitching. But yeah, that is that one. And then out of the other part of the sweater I had left over, I couldn't let it go to waste. I thought I've got to do something with it. It was the pretty stitching on it. So I went in and cut different parts of the sweaters just to make ponchos. This too was the arm. And yeah, the cuff to the arm. And then I cut the armholes and blanket stitched around that to give it a little decorative stitching. And then again, I've got the Ruby Moss Cottage on the panties of the dolly. That is, these took forever, and really the part that took the most time was all of this hair, taking it in, and took a long time. I started to, and I did it on a lot of the hair, but I didn't do all the hair because it was just taking too long. But you can see I was going in, and the twist of them I was, or the plies I was untwisting to make it, and I wanted the whole head like that, but not enough time. So it's sporadically done like that. I was starting to make them more clothes. Okay, the dolls also got a suitcase each. And in the suitcases was shoes and hair bows. I really had intended to have a lot of clothes in there. And I have a basket of woolen sweaters over there that I have to make little dresses and things for, skirts. But I ran out of time. And so this is one of the dresses that is finished. This is from an old sweatshirt of mine. I just cut the arm and did a little bit of embroidery on it. Yeah, so you can see the flowers on the heart and the little flower up there. Then I started to do another one, and this was Christmas Eve, and I'm like, I'm done. So I was just starting to do flowers on this, and ran out of time. But I intend to make a full wardrobe for the dollies. It's just, you know, that little thing called time that we all cannot get enough of. That is out of my bags. And I'm going to show you the pattern. It was published in wefolkart.com. But it's Baggy Bean and Friends is the pattern on Ravelry. And I will put that all down here so you can see it. That was in my bags. Now out of my bags. I think that's all I needed to say about it. I just stuffed them with polyfill. I did put this weight of the hair gets really heavy, and it makes the head kind of want to flop. So she suggested, and I did it, getting some PVC pipe, and I don't remember the measurement of it, but I got it and then just sawed it and just put a little piece of it in between the neck and the shoulders, so it kind of keeps it steady. In the bunkum, I've got some kind of, she also suggests this. It's like a bead, some kind of weighted, it's not beads, little pellets. So it just gives them a little weight to the bottom so that they're balanced. And then everything else is just fiberfill. I actually had a huge bag that I had a sofa, and the pillows that were on it was just stuffed so full that it just didn't sit comfortably. So I just went in and pulled a bunch of the stuffing out to make it a little more cozy. And I just thought, well, this is perfectly good fiberfill. I'm going to keep it. And so I went through that whole bag between these two, and then I made my grandson, let's see, where did I put the pattern book? I may have carried it off when I was making my tea. Oh, here it is. Okay. I made my grandson, and I will try to get some picture and insert here, or maybe have him playing with it. But I made him this little hobby horse, and it pretty much looks just like that. I mean, that's a little different button for the eyes. But I made him that for Christmas. So I will try to get a picture of him. I do have one that I took Christmas, but he was moving with it, and so it was a little blurry. I'll try to have my daughter take a picture of him with that so that I can include it here. And that way you can see that is also out of my bags. So those 3 gifts took a long time to knit. Very, very enjoyable knitting, but it took a long time nevertheless. I think that's all that's out of my bags. I'm trying to think back before I ended right when I finished the last podcast. My husband and I were going out of town. We were going to the mountains, and we got snow up there, and I posted some of that on Instagram. So I'm trying to think back that far if I finished any other knitting. And it's possible that maybe some socks. I know I was knitting on a sweater that I'm still knitting on. And I think that's all that's out of my bags. I don't think I had anything else out of my bags. I have some things in my bags. I'm going to get to that. You know what I want to do? First of all, what I want to do is just like, I've got this, and it happens every year at this time. I get Christmas over with, and then I want to start cleaning, nesting. I just want to rid out, and I'm notorious for rearranging the house anyway. And when I say house, I mean house. Like, I will rearrange and move rooms. Like, this room here used to be a dining room, but it's now my craft room. I will move furniture from top to bottom to top, and I'll do it all by myself. I always say me and Jesus do it, because I'm telling you, there's some things that I could not have lifted by myself. But I'm of the mindset that I don't want to, my husband, he's tired when he comes home, and I don't think he wants to move furniture. So if I can do it, I'm going to do it. If there's anything that I can do, I'm going to do it. And so I've just got this need in me to get to work and rearrange. What I want is to get this craft room set up so that this, like right now I'm recording from my iPad. It is setting on my easel that I paint on. I want to have that set up in a place where it can just be there, so that this new style of podcasting that I do, I can just go sit on this little love seat and just start recording and not have to lug everything out. Because right now, this stays out in the family room. This meaning this easel that I paint from stays out in the family room. So when I want to podcast, unless I'm going to podcast out there, which I think I did one time, the lighting was so horrible that I didn't do it again. I have to go get it, bring it up here. So I just want to get everything worked out. I have rambled so much so far. Who knows what's going to be edited out. But it's kind of therapeutic, to finally just get a talk and somebody listen. Because it doesn't happen much around here. I mean, I can talk and talk and talk, and it's like just more noise. So, I mean, I'm not to my husband or to the adults, but like to the kids, the grandkids. It's like, yeah. So I'm going to do that because I have a few hours before my husband comes home. I'm going to do that. I'm going to clean, rework this room, maybe do a little bit of knitting. I'm knitting something really cool. I'll tell you all about that in a little bit.
I'm back. And we've got a whole new room to work in.
I am back. It's a whole new day. Actually, it's 2 whole new days. Okay, as soon as I got finished podcasting, I rework this entire room. And so that took that whole day. And then yesterday, the house was quiet. I had no grandies. Everyone was gone. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go finish my podcasting. And then I came in here and I realized I didn't have any pictures on the back. And I still had some little things to do. And I thought, well, I will do that really quickly. And then I'll podcast. And so one thing led to another. And by the time I got things up on the wall and then things moved to other rooms to hang on walls, by the time I got it all finished and set down and the camera angled just right, and if you have done this, you know how hard that is. So I got it all set up and then everybody came home. So I didn't do anything yesterday. So this morning I jumped up, had to run and get some blood work done, take my little grandson to school, and got back. And before I get the girlies their lunch and then go pick up the grandson, I thought, well, I will get a little bit more podcast, and then maybe I can finish it all up today so that I can get it edited and drop tomorrow, which is the 10th, which is my podiversary. So let's get rolling. I think I'd finished off with what is in my bag. No, what was out of my bags. And so the next thing I was going to segue into would probably be what is in my bags. Yeah. So I've got two things. Now, I've got more things that are in my bags, but you've seen them. I think I'm working on a shawl that you've seen and some socks that you've seen. I'm not going to pull all that back out, but I thought I would pull out two things. Three things. Two things. I think this one's just no, I don't know. Okay, whatever. I'm going to pull out some things. I think two or three things. So one of the things I'm working on, and you've probably seen this on Instagram, but I don't know, there's just something about showing it again. It is the Fern and Feather shawl, and I mean Fern and Feather sweater by Jennifer Steingass, and I have not, she's knit wool love, I think, on Ravelry or Instagram. But this is not in color, but you can still see the beauty of that sweater. So, and if you remember, I'm doing it in the Plotaloopy, I don't know. But let me see if the tag is down here. It isn't. But it's the roving, basically, is what it is. So I am, wait a minute, my stitch marker is caught in this and I do not want that to happen. Okay, so this is how far I've gotten on it. Make sure I'm not going to drop any stitches because I'm now down to the increases down by the waist. So I will be starting the sleeves soon, hopefully. But there you go. Isn't it beautiful? And there is a nice glare going on from my lamps in the windows. And I'm sorry for the glare on the pictures back there, which I'm going to talk about those pictures in a little bit. But this is my Fern and Feather sweater. I have tried it on, I guess, when it was to right here. And this stuff is fuzzy. It fit. I have not tried it on since I did the decrease, the shaping, the short rows, and all of that. But I think it's going to be just fine. Oh, I love it. Isn't that beautiful? It is so pretty. All of her work is just beautiful. Let's just stare at it together. All of her work is so beautiful. This stitch marker here is from, it keeps getting tangled. I guess I need to get a different one. But it's the cutest little thing. It's Knitty by Nature. But look how cute. It's a little snowman. I love her stitch markers. They don't catch. Now, I say that because he is kind of intricate. So this is just very, this roving blooms. And so his little feet are getting caught on it. But all of her little progress keepers and her stitch markers, they do not get hooked on any of my work. I really love, and she's some of the cutest charms. Knitty by Nature on Etsy if you want to check out some of her. And she's given some some stitch markers and progress keepers as giveaways too. So that's who, I think this other one here, I'm not sure that's her, so I don't know who that is. I'm going to just, you know what? I love these things, and I wish, let me see if the packaging, they are. Clover makes these. They're circular stitch holders. It's just in the green and white, the Clover packet. I use their cables, a needle with a cable. I use those for my arms. And anytime you have to put stitches on waste yarn or whatever, these are great. Oh, I love them. I would much rather pick up or put stitches back on your needle from a cable than from waste yarn. But these, they have the little needle tip on the end, and then this little, see that little spongy thing, so that the needle stopper, I guess. So the cable doesn't come off, and then the needle just goes right into it, and it holds them. So I love those. I bought those at Black Mountain Yarn Shop. She was telling me about them, so I had to have them. I actually want to get some more. I don't know if, since they're Clover, I don't know if like Hobby Lobby would sell them or not. I guess I should look there, huh? But this is Fern and Feather. I've already got my next one picked out, my color work, or whatever you call it. This is like an Icelandic sweater. I just love them. I would like to have several yokes sweaters done like that. Knitting this, like I said, out of this Plodaloopy yarn, and I thought I had one down in my bag here, but I don't. It's just in this. I think it's just, let me put this over here. Just one more row, just a like a canvas bag. I think I got this at off of Ravelry years ago. Not Ravelry, Knit Picks years ago. Oh gosh, I probably had it a long time, but it's a great bag. It's got it's more like a tote. But so that is in my bags. And another thing that's in my bags, my new love. Okay, I am playing along with, I cannot remember the hashtag. I think it's called, I wish I had put it on the pattern here. Knit Mittens. I'm gonna look in my little knitting bag book that I have here to see if I even have if I wrote the hashtag in it. Sure haven't. It's I can't stand it when I do that. I'm gonna put it down here so that you'll know. Anyway, I'm playing along with that, and it's by P. Fortune and Sitting Tree Farm, I think. Oh, something tells me that's wrong too. It's a mitten cowl, and it's color work mittens. I will show you the picture of what my very first one. I don't know if they're going to do one each month. I know they're doing January and February. I don't know if they're going to continue, but I probably will, because I feel like as much as I love knitting socks, and I'll always knit socks because you always need them and they're always easy to do on the go. This has taken the place, though, of my love. This is the mittens that I'm going to be knitting. Let It Snow. And this is by, they're called Snowbird. I'm sorry. But it's, I don't have my glasses. Here's a pair. I'm going to look up the designer because I don't know who it is. Ellie Stubenrock. I'm probably not saying that name right. On Ravelry. But this was in Vogue Knitting 2008 by the buy the pattern online. But anyway, Snowbird. Okay. This is the Mitten, and I should put it on a blocker. I had a blocker here earlier. I probably got all organized and put it in the basket. Okay. This is my first one. And there is a little bit of a shadow. This says Let It. I'm going to have to go in and top stitch because I don't know if it's the yarn I'm using, but it just did not show up very well. But I think I'm going to go in and top stitch Let It. And then on the next mitten it'll say Snow. But can you see the snowbirds up there? This is the front. This is the palm. I have not blocked it yet. I'm going to block it and then I'm going to shrink it just a little. It needs, I think, okay, I was reading if you felt them, they're warmer. So it needs to be felted just a bit. This is the left mitt. So like the thumb fits, I mean it fits okay, but I want it to be just a bit more snug. And I think if I just throw it in the washer for just a little bit. And okay, so these new washing machines do not felt. There's no agitator in them. So if you have any tips, please leave them in the comments. I did buy tennis balls, so I'm going to try those. I tried washing them with my dryer balls, but I don't think that the dryer balls were heavy enough because it didn't felt what I needed felted. But so if you have any tips, please, I need help because these need felted just a smidge. I would just like them just to be a little tighter. If they don't, I'll line them with fleece probably because, I don't know, I don't know. I know mittens are a little bit awkward anyway, but I feel like if they were a bit snug, it would help. There were some tweaking in this pattern that I'm doing. If you will notice, do you need something? I'm going to fix lunch in a minute. Okay, so if you will see in this pattern, well, I don't know if it's going to show up real well. Right here. See this where you switch from the blue to, you start the two rows, the ribbing, but you get that extra blue line where she's purling. I didn't want that. So like I did a row of stockinette stitch, white, blue, in the pattern that it called for. So the row of stockinette stitch before I started the purl, took that away. And then I adjusted something else in the pattern. Mainly that. I just didn't want that row of blue in the white or cream. But the yarn I use, oh, I wish I could speak Nordic like my friend, like my Norwegian friends, but it's raw. I'll show you the tag. Ramu, I don't know. That's what I used. And I used that in color number 402, and I don't know what is 40, well, we gotta do. So 402 was the cream, and then this is 45. This minty green is 45. I really, really like these colors. I feel like it gives it a vintage look. When they first came and I held them, I thought, I'm not sure about that. But once I got them knit up, I loved it. Or once I started working with it, I really wish that let's stretch those out just so you could see it a little better. Yeah. I don't know. It shows up well in the pattern, on the picture of the pattern. I think it's because of the color she chose. But that really bugs me. So I will have to fix that. And like I said, I think top stitching that E will help it. But this is my new love, and you'll probably be seeing mittens year round. I just think that's so pretty. It's so fun to knit things that you just love. Like that sweater, that Fern and Feather, love. These, love. I guess I've been in a little bit of a slump, and maybe it's the Christmas knitting I did. I enjoyed doing that, and I was happy to give that. It was fun at different parts to watch it come together, like the dolls and the pony. And then before that, I was just kind of in a slump knitting on shawls and socks. And I enjoyed it because I just love knitting. But I cannot say that I loved it. Okay, so like my sister, she is a new knitter. She's been knitting about a year and a half. I taught her on her 60th birthday that we went away for a weekend. And so I taught her how to knit. And oh, it's such a thrill because she is so in love with her knitting. Like yesterday, she texted me and she was on her way home from work. And she said she missed her yarn so much while she's at work that while she was driving, she just had it sitting in her lap, holding it. She's knitting socks for the first time, I think. But that's how I feel about this. I mean, it's so nice to have that thrill again, just to, I don't know, love to do it. Yeah, it's funny because I keep thinking about her driving, holding her yarn. I mean, that's just, we're just passionate people in my family. Or it's like, we like something, we like it. And if we don't like something, we don't like it. And if we're having a good time, we're loud. I mean, it's just, so for me to be back in love with something that I'm knitting, I love it. And that's what I want all of my 2018 projects to be. Knitting, I love. Okay, now I'm going to show you something else, and it's in this bag, and I'm going to tell you about this bag when I'm finished with the project. But it's inside is, these are my Christmas Eve. This is my Christmas Eve cast on that I do. Well, the world does with Danny of Little Bobbins. I'm using this yarn by Kate Celine, and Is That Not to Die For? I thought that looked really Christmassy. I've shared this yarn with you before. This is her card, so you can see. Okay. I'm doing the socks now. I think I'm going to rip them out, because first of all, I started these socks and doing the Christmas Eve cast on. Of course, I bought Danny's pattern. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and you cannot see those Christmas trees. There's only two. There's one there and one there. I just started those. But I love the yarn so much. And so I started with the blue, and I thought, oh, I'm going to do the red, and then I'm going to do blue again. And then I thought, oh, that's going to look like a tube sock. So I thought, oh, I'll just do a little bit of the ribbing in the normal color. I think that'll be cute. And then I'll do the heels and toes in the red and the blue. And then I got down the leg, and I thought, that looks like a tube sock. Now, granted, no one's going to see that. But you know what? Once a thought gets in my head, it doesn't work for me. So, probably going to frog this, which means it will not be a Christmas Eve cast on, because I will be casting it back on sometime in January. I don't know. I may live with it. It'll be up under pants or all scrunched down, because that's how I wear my socks, all bunched. I don't know. I think of tube socks, and then I think of this 'Twas the Night Before Christmas sock that Danny created, and I think that's such an elegant pattern. And tube socks and 'Twas the Night Before Christmas don't go together. So what I may do is, if I do keep it, I'll frog it back to here and not do the trees and just do the vanilla sock. And then do that pattern on something else. and I just won't have a Christmas Eve cast on, but I will always know that these were cast on Christmas Eve. You know what? It just dawned on me. To be honest, these were not a Christmas Eve. They were Christmas Eve cast on because I remember it was like 11 o'clock at night and my daughters and I were up. They were setting up their children's Christmas stuff and I was down there and I said, well, I have to do a Christmas Eve cast on. Y'all are my witness. I did do this on Christmas Eve. And I just did the cast on. I don't even think I did anymore. I just cast on 64 stitches. And then I quit and went to bed. And I was starting on the twisted rib and it was too tight. So Christmas Day, I'm at my mother's in the evening and I'm knitting and it was too tight. So I ripped it all out and cast it on. So really it's Christmas Day. It's not even a Christmas Day cast on because I started it all over again with a regular rib. And then I got the idea, no, I want to do ribbing in blue. So I took that out like a day or two later. So I'm not a Christmas Eve cast on anyway. Boy, I bet you think, I wish you'd shut up about those socks and move on to something else. I'm going to. Okay, I'm going to tell you something funny then, since I've been rambling about these silly socks for so long. But before I do that, I'll tell you the funny thing first. Okay, so my mom, bless, my mom is going to be 80 in April. March would not be my mother. That would be my father-in-law. No, March would be my mother-in-law. Oh, good Lord. Okay. April the 30th is my mother's birthday. She will be 80 years old. She's in great health. She's in arthritis and she's in good health. But oh my gosh, sweet and funny and naive. As cantankerous as my grandmother Ruby could be, and full of fight and vim and vigor, my mother got it in naivety. So me and my sisters took her to this Southern Christmas show that we have around here back in November. And her back was hurting, so she had sat down while us three girls shopped this is a huge market. It's just huge. And so we went back to where we sat her where she sat down. When we were finished, we went back and she said, I've got to go get something. She said, this lady sat down beside of me and showed me what she had bought her husband. And it's a pillow that vibrates and you'd like put it on your back and set on. And I don't remember if it heated. I don't think it heated. But the vibration really helped massage the back. And she said you can even put it under your feet. And so, I had so much fun with that. I'm like, yeah, and you can sit on it. But anyway, so she knew exactly where it was. So my one sister said, well, I'll take you back there and get it. They did. They got the pillow. She brought it back, showed us, and it really was nice. So fast forward a couple of weeks. She, can I help you? Yes, you may. I've got to stop and feed these babies. They're really hungry. I've moved everything around here. My clock is over there now. So my daughter and her two little girls went out to my mother's to spend the night one evening so that my mom could watch the girls the next day while she worked. I was doing something. And one of the granddaughters sat down on the sofa and must have sat on the pillow. And it was vibrating. And my daughter said, what is that noise? She said, is that the pillow? And my mom, my 80-year-old, sweet, beautiful, innocent mother said, oh, yes, that's my vibrator. Of course, my daughter immediately texted me and my other daughter. And I laughed out loud for the longest time. And I had to text my sisters. I don't think my mom watches this. I hope she doesn't, because I don't want her to be offended. It's just hilarious. And we probably should explain to her so that she doesn't repeat that. I could just see her being in her Sunday school class and telling about this awesome vibrator that she found. funny story just because I just bored you about those socks. Now, let me tell you about this bag. We're going to switch to my shopping bags. I haven't been shopping a lot for knitting, but this bag is from Lowland Originals on Etsy. Her name is Renee, and I love her bags. I've had her bags for years. She does beautiful, I guess I would call them patchwork, but that's probably not her name for them. She does beautiful work. So this is her newest bag, and I don't even know what the name of it is. I've not seen a construction like this in bags, but I love it. This is my carry-on bag, so it'll go in my purse because it can, oh, there's a needle sticking up right here, but it can just fold up and go down in my purse. Easy. Okay, so this bag, you flip it like this, and then you have your bag. The top's all folded down. Then when it's time to go, see this folded down part, you just take a side of it, flip it over, it's ready to go. Nothing falls out, no zipper, no tie, no nothing. Oh, Renee, you are brilliant. You desperately need to go check her out. Her pricing is amazing. Great prices. She's in the Netherlands. Quick shipping. I mean, she turns it around really fast. But she makes other bags, but this is my absolute crush now. I mean, knitting is such a lovely thing. I'm in love with my projects that I'm working on. I'm in love with my bag. I'm just in love. And on that note, I'm going to go fix lunch for my other two grandies and go pick up my other grandie. And then I'll come back and get him down for a nap. And then sometime today, we will wrap this all up. All right, moving right along. I think we just finished what was in my bags, and I'm trying to think back. I was supposed to get back yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm back, and we are moving into baggage. So we've done what's out of my bags. We've done what's in my bags. We've done a lot of chit chat. And so now let's move into my baggage. And I don't know if I've done baggage for a while, but when I was rearranging my nook, I found some things. You may remember I had a quilt on the back here, and I did remember when I was pulling it off and reworking the room, I thought, this quilt, I was cutting out the pieces to that quilt last January on my very first podcast. It's still not finished, but at least it is sandwiched together. It is I didn't open it up and look, but I think it's halfway stitched, quilted together. So I did have to do that and then bind it. And it's just a matter of taking an afternoon or two and finishing it off. But, you know, there's always something else. So that's in my baggage, and I didn't want to drag that out and have to pull it up and hold it up. Find enough space to hold it up. But I'm saying it, I'm telling you about it, I'm reminding you about it so that it'll hold me accountable to get that thing done. And then the other thing I found was my Cozy Memories blanket. I absolutely love this blanket. It is wide enough, you know, to snuggle up on the sofa with, but it's not long enough yet. So it comes up to I mean, like sitting like this, it's down over my knees. So it won't take a lot more to work with to do it. Um, I just need to do it. And so this is my goal. I'm going to put this as the year 2018 that this blanket gets finished. I should make it like a 6-month, but I have this bad habit of putting self-imposed deadlines on myself, and then I get stressed out about it, and then it takes all the joy out of it because I'm doing it just because it needs to get done. Because I have to meet that deadline that I set in my head. And goals are good, yes, but I take it to the extreme. See, I'm a very charismatic person, and when I jump on board something, I'm all in, and I just want to do the thing right, and sometimes it's to my detriment. So I'm going to say the year, and then subconsciously, I'm going to hopefully have it finished by like June. But I look at this and I have so many memories of things that I knit. Now, a lot of these I don't have memories of because they were swaps. And so, you know, there was no project that I knit. But there are a lot of these that I knit projects with. So I remember those. And it's fun to just sit and you know, just flip, just look through them. And some of them, my knit projects with that I can remember. And so yeah, it's a cozy memory to sit and look through. I know everybody and their brother has done one, but I think the very first person I saw working on one was Molly, and fell in love with it. Gosh, that was a long time ago. But I did choose, I saw someone on Ravelry, and I wish I could remember why, and I'd give them credit, but they sporadically put a big diamond shape in, and I liked the look, and I thought I'm going to do that because it's going to eat up space. I think it takes the space of 4 squares. That way, and it just gives it a little diversity. But that is in my baggage, so I'm going to get that finished, and I've got so many blankets that I've started just tucked here and there that I need to get on, and working a little bit on this one, a little bit on that one is just not going, it's not fast enough progress. So I'm going to start on this one and just really dedicate my time to it, and hopefully it'll get done this year. I also, when I travel, I take it with me so that I can I'll have those memories of oh yeah, I knit on this when I was there or there or there. It's almost getting a little too big now. If I'm going anywhere like by plane that you just don't want to haul it. But if it's a car ride, yeah, I don't mind taking it with me and working on it. Okay, so that's my baggage. Let's move on to, I'm going to talk about my gift bags. Yeah, I'm talking about gift bags, and then that will segue into my giveaways. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Did I make a note? What that was? Prize bags. Okay. So, a friend of mine on Instagram messaged me and said that she had patterns that she wanted to give, a pattern that she wanted to give me to give away, and she gave me 5 of them to give away. On Instagram, she is Vintage Fairy LLC. She also has an Etsy shop, and I'm going to put it down here in the down bar. It's Vintage Fairy LLC, and I have not visited her Etsy shop, so I cannot tell you what all she sells. I'm trying to pull up here on Ravelry. Here's one. Okay, so this is the pattern that she gifted me to gift to you. And I'm hoping it will show up here. See that heart garland? That is so precious. Now, she gifted me this before Christmas to give to you all. And I thought it is pretty. It would make pretty Christmas garland. But when I saw it, I thought Valentine's Day. And I'm going to make one. I thought it would be so cute to just have a heart garland hanging in some place around the cottage. So I'm giving that away. I am also going to have one. Okay, so that's what was given to me to give. I think that's the only thing since I've last podcast. I don't think anything else has come in to give away. A gift for me and gifts for you. So, having said that, let's segue into the prize bag. Now, since it's my 1-year podiversary, I'm going to, I want it to be a nice gift. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, probably it'll just be through Instagram. I am going to revive my Ravelry group. I've got a lady who has volunteered to be a moderator. And it's not, when I say moderator, it's not that it's so big that I can't manage it. It's that I'm so busy that I don't make it a priority to manage it. And that's why I stopped. I kind of like shut it down. But I know some people don't communicate a lot on Instagram. So I am going to open it back up, just not yet. I will let you know when it is back up. I really wanted to have it done by the time I got this podcast done, but I've been doing this thing called crofting, and it kind of takes up my time. And then when I have free time, I get on Instagram to check up with all of you guys. So I'm going to get that all reorganized and list her as the moderator, and then that way your comments aren't ignored, and I think it'll just run smoother. So said all of that to say this giveaway will be on Instagram. So probably when I upload the podcast to YouTube and let you know on Instagram that it's live, that's probably where I'll put the prompt to enter for the prize. I know I'm not making myself clear, and it's because I haven't really come up with the prompt yet, but I'm going to. Okay. These are the prizes that will be given away. First of all, I think I told you about this before. It is the Pearl Soho Fringe Supply Bag. So this will be in the giveaway. That's awesome enough, all in of itself. But that's not all. Evil Little Goat yarn. Now, let me tell you, I know I have waxed poetic about her yarn, but words just does not do it justice. Words do not do it justice. This set is called My Sharona, and I had a really hard time. She sent me two and said, you choose one and you give one away, and I had a really hard time, and I think I told you that I chose Girls Just Want to Have Fun because my daughter danced to a song when she was a little girl. Okay, so this goes with this. That's gorgeous. That is so pretty together. Now, Evil Little Goats yarn, don't wait to win this prize, or don't wait to find out if you win this prize. If I were you, I would stop this podcast right now and I would go to her website and I would order some of her yarn, because you're not going to see such beautiful yarn. And I love the way her yarn marries together. I mean, you could do a fade of any kind with it because it's just so beautiful. And I don't know if Dion tries to do that. Every time I get some of her yarn, I think, oh, but it would go with this, and it would go with this. And she's got this mohair. I wish I had pulled it that I bought. I'm going to just run it with some of her yarn. Oh, I love her yarn, and you will too. So, yeah, I want to really promote her and the makers that I really believe in. I mean, like, I read this quote, and it said, promote what you love rather than bash what you hate. And I think in the world we live, we've gotten so far away from that, promoting what we love. I think everybody's turned into bashers, and it's just like, okay, get over it. You don't like that. Well, tell me what you like. Tell me what you want to do. And I listen more to the promoters than the bashers. I think a positive voice is far weightier than a negative one. So that's why I go on about like Evil Little Goat and this next maker, because their products are so good and I believe in them, and I know that you will too. Okay, so this is in the giveaway. Another thing in the giveaway is this little package right here. It's funny because I didn't even see all this. It kind of all just goes together really cutely. This is a needle cozy. I'm trying to think of what other people call them. You know, you can put your DPNs in it, or I don't use DPNs that much, so when I use my needle cozies, I usually do in the round with a magic loop. So I'll just put them down in the needle cozy, snap them up, and then they're safe. And I wish I had one here to show you, but I don't. And this is so beautifully wrapped that I don't want to unwrap it. But this is Bed of Roses, and Catherine, she's in Norway, and she gave me several of these to give away, and I've already given them away in previous giveaways. But this is the last one that I have, and there's stitch markers in here, and there's a beautiful, beautiful needle cozy. And I really would show it, but it's just too beautiful. So these 3 things are in the giveaway, and this is over $100 right here. And then I've got other little things I'll put in. Evil Little Goat sent a little, look how cute her logo is on that bag. It's a, just a notions bag to put your notions in. I'm going to stick that in with it. She also sent, and I thought I had it here. I must have dropped it. She also sent a little pin and some stitch markers that it's going to go in here. And then I've got some things, and I'll put some tea and fun things in it. So this is going to be the big Potiversary giveaway. The big 1-year Potiversary giveaway. So you do not want to miss out on this. How often are you given a fringe supply bag? So that is what we're going to be doing. And then I have, like I said, 5 of the projects to give away, the patterns to give away from, her name is, well, Vintage Fairy LLC. I think her name is Crystal, and her last name is, okay, this is going to be a stab in the dark. I think it's Wisniewski. I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm not 100% sure. That looks like a Polish name, and I had, in the community that I grew up in, the neighborhood, well, the town I grew up in, there was a Polish community, and some of them were my friends, and so I think you pronounce that Wisniewski. But Crystal, thank you so much for the giveaway. Dion, thank you. Catherine, thank you. And so thank you to the makers that this past year have given gifts, because it's, oh man, it's a wonderful way to get your name out there, and also it's such a blessing to me. So thank you for that. All right, I think, oh, let's move on to my shopping bags. I don't have a lot in my shopping bags. It was Christmas. I didn't buy a lot, but I did buy, I'm doing those mittens, those color work mittens, and so I wanted to order some yarn for February's mittens. And I didn't know if I was going to do like blue and white, because I'm going to do, and I don't have the pattern here, I cannot think of what it was called. It doesn't matter. There were 2 patterns that I was thinking about. One, these colors would look good in, and one, these colors would look good in. These are from Tote Yarn, and they are the, that is the brand. So I love the colors. And then when they came, I thought, those look like great Olympic colors. So I think these yarns are, I'm going to wait until the Olympics. I think the Winter Olympics start in February. So I think I'm going to save these colors and knit something, maybe a headband or something. I don't know. I usually like to look and see what the American athletes are wearing. And then there's usually a spin-off. So if it's a hat or mittens or a scarf or whatever, there's usually a pattern on Ravelry. So I'm going to save these just in case. And if they're not wearing anything that I think I would like, then I might make a headband out of them. But that I ordered from Tote Yarn. So that's my shopping bag. Now I need to order some more yarn to make some mittens, because I just love those colors. So that is it in my shopping bag as far as I can see. I think that's it. Other than that, we've got my book bag. And I wanted to show you some others. But in keeping with the thought, promote what you love rather than bash what you hate, I read 2 books that were really bad. And I thought, okay, one of them took me a year to work through. And the other one, and I know you might ask why. Why didn't you stop? Because, oh, sorry, somebody's texting me. There's a sale, and I need to know about that. So, I was going to show you the books just to keep you from buying them, and I'm really sorry. That's going to ding for a little bit. Just to keep you from buying them if you are ever in a bookstore. But then I thought, you know what? That's not important. They may like it. So, these are the books that I'm reading right now, and I love. Okay, so this, remember this, the book club that I'm in, and I think the box, hold on one second. Here it is. This is the Once Upon a Book Club that I'm in, and it comes once a month, duh. And I've been doing it since September, and every month the books have been amazing. But the fun part, not only do you get a good book, because they select wonderful books, not only do you get a good book, but then inside are prizes. Now, I'm a little behind this month because it was Christmas and I didn't have a whole lot of time to read. But, so I've only opened one gift, and it's, a lot of times the gifts are, you know, they're just fun gifts. A lot of times I pass the gifts on to my grandies, and they love them. They play with them. Last month, was it last month? Yes. November's book had these beautiful sterling silver earrings that are herons, flying herons. And fly is one of my theme words for life. So I love those. And there have been things in them that I'm like, oh, I really like this. So I don't know what these other packages are. When you get to certain pages, like this page 208, when you get to 208, there'll be a little prompt in here that says open your gift, and you open the gift. So it's fun. But this book is really interesting. It's Beast of Extraordinary Circumstance. Extraordinary, however you say that. It's by Ruth Emmy Lang. And it is a very interesting read so far. Now, I am only to page 99. And I don't even know what genre this would be. I need to look that up. But it's about a little boy who his parents have died, and they died before the book starts. So you don't go through that sad circumstance. And so rather than go into a foster home, he ran away into the woods, and no one ever found him. Well, they did find him, but he's living with wolves. And he's kind of got these superpowers that he's unaware of, as of right now, that he's unaware of, but other people are discovering them. So it's different. It's not a book. And it could be the season of my life because it's just so crazy with Christmas and all. It's not a book that I can just not wait to get back to. Like, oh, I can't wait to get everything done so I can just sit and read, which most of their books have been like that. This is very interesting, though. It's not a book that you think, I am, like I'm reading a little bit every evening. So I would suggest it. It's a good book. Then let me show you a book that my sister gave me. Not my sister, my daughter gave me for Christmas. It's hilarious. It is just a funny book, and it's just funny. Her and her two little girls, they live with us, and so there's always a mess with the little ones and all. And she gave me this book. It's so funny. I mean, I've been sitting in the evenings when we're watching TV together. This was Christmas night. We were all out there watching a movie, and I was reading, and I was just laughing out loud because some of the little things are so funny. I'm going to read to you. Let me get she says, "We're being brainwashed into thinking that there is some life-changing magic to be had by throwing out our belongings. It doesn't work. With this book, learn to break free from the bonds of tidiness and triumph over the boring forces of uniformity and predictability. You're born messy and you die messy, but someplace in between you get bullied into believing that you should be neat and organized. This is wrong. No one likes tidy people. They're uptight. Messy people, you are awesome. You would never let the threat of clutter stop you from any purchase. So buy this book and leave it wherever you want." It's so funny. I mean, there's just such funny, and it's meaningless, but it's funny. So if you need a good laugh, either watch Jody and Tracy on the Grocery Girls or read this book. And that is just about it. Oh, I want to tell you one thing I did since my last podcast, and the reason why I'm doing it's in my travel bag, and I want to tell you about it in case you are ever traveling through Waynesville, North Carolina. Now, you know that my favorite yarn shop is Black Mountain Yarn Shop. I love that place. Well, she's got a sister now. I found this one when Todd and I were in the western North Carolina mountains, and we were coming back through in this little town in it's Waynesville, North Carolina. This like one little street we were on. And I was just like kind of wandering from shop to shop, no purpose, not looking for anything. And this above the door said Tia Dana, and I believe that's what it said. That's all. I don't know. There may have been something else. So I looked in the window and I thought, oh, this looks interesting. So I went in. I walk in. And I noticed to the left, oh, there's a little bit of yarn. Let me walk over. And I'm walking in. I'm walking into a yarn shop. Tia means aunt in Spanish, and Dana is the owner, is the lady's name. And it was the cutest yarn shop. Oh, my lands. So I ended up buying the wool that I needed to make the pony for my grandson for Christmas. And that yarn was was it Jameson and Smith? I can't remember, but it's a wool that you usually have to order. It's not been in any other yarn shops. So I had the most fun looking at the yarn, and my husband was waiting for me outside. And he doesn't care how long I take, but I can get a little carried away in yarn shops. And I'd already been in and out of so many shops, so I was kind of wanting to hurry. So I didn't really get to appreciate the whole shop, because one side of it, the other side that I didn't get to, appeared as I was walking out to be vintage clothing. Now, it could be new clothing made to look vintage, or it could have been vintage. I don't know. But I was just like, oh, I want to go through all of that too. And I didn't get to. But we are going back up through there in a couple weekends, I think. And I'm going to get to stop back in to see that yarn shop. And I will take video. I could not believe when I got in the truck. I said, oh my goodness. I did not take one picture. I didn't. What was I thinking? So the next time I will, and I will show it to you. Oh, it was really good. So if you're local, or if you're traveling through and you're going through Waynesville, Maggie Valley area, on 40, get off and go into Waynesville and visit Tia Donna. And no, it's Dana, like banana. Tia Dana. Go in, visit with her, stop, say hello, tell her Joyce from the Ruby Moss Cottage podcast talked about her, and you will not be disappointed. So, Black Mountain Yarn Shop in Black Mountain, and Tia Dana in Waynesville, North Carolina. Those are my two all-time favorites. That's it. We've come to the end. Finally, after 3 days of podcasting. This setup worked well for me. So let me know if you're like, no, please don't do this anymore. Or, yeah, that worked really well. I enjoyed the mix-up. I like feedback, but last year, my word for the year was live. And at the end of every podcast, you may not have noticed, but I always said live and let live. It seems like every year I have a theme. A year before that, it was become, and that was my word, and it kind of evolved into become who you are. And so I just kind of, it's been a process, and it continued through last year of just, discovering who I really am and just become that. Celebrate that. Don't hide it. Don't fear it. Don't be intimidated by it. Don't be embarrassed by it. Just become who you are. And so went on last year to live and let live. And then this year, my word is intentional. And so my goal is to live intentional, live passionately, and do it with intention. And every day to do things intentionally. So I just want to challenge you with that, to live intentionally. And whatever your crafty little hands find to do it one stitch at a time.
What?
Looking at a pretty little girl.
Are you podcasting?
No, I'm done. You want to go bye-byes?
Where? Bye-bye.
Hmm?
Where bye-bye?
I don't know. You need to get dressed. You're still in your jammies.
You're still in your pajamas.
I'm not in my pajamas.
We're going to Target and we're going to buy a Moana costume.
I love you so
I'm not
much.
giving up.
Hmm?
I'm not getting up. I'm not getting up.
You're not getting up.